Hey, I want to thank you again for watching and listening to the Brothers Who Talk. We are still on our hiatus, like I said, until October. But today, I want to give you some great content. This is a replay of what we call sex, lies, and denial. Get some hard-hitting questions from my wife that she pulled from other women's groups and things of that nature. So you don't want to miss this. This is going to be a very creative conversation. All right, so listen, and if you're on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, all that great stuff, as well as if you're on Apple Podcasts, make sure you leave us a review. We live and die off of reviews. So make sure you leave a review, thumbs up, thumbs down, just say something. Let us know how great or horrible we are. And if you have some topics or things you want us to talk about, make sure you check us out, you connect with us, and we will definitely get to your topics because we want to make sure we're discussing the things that you care about. All right, without further ado, let's get into it.
Hard for me to receive sex from someone who really don't want me. I mean, here's the difference. You make love to your wife or your girlfriend. Well, no, your wife. We're talking wife right now. You make love to your wife, and you know when she's into it. You know her facial expression. She knows she start crying. You know you doing the thing. So
crying.
Yeah, I made that. Don't do that. I made that happen.
Welcome to another episode of the Brothers Who Talk with Terry and AD. This podcast is about men talking about everyday shenanigans, the stuff that makes us mad, to the topics that concern why in the world do these guys have a podcast. Let's get to it.
Welcome to another episode of the Brothers Who Talk podcast with your man, me, and it's my guy, AD. Listen, today we have a very special guest. She's my sister. She's my sister and Patty. We love her to death. We love her.
Yeah, that is so true.
So real. All right,
Sister and Patty.
I'm telling you, man. So let me ask you this, baby.
Yes.
Before we get started, and we always do it every time.
Yes.
What is or how is your week going, or how has it been? It's Thursday, we're in the middle of the week. How's your week?
It's interesting. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's we're maintaining. The kids on. Hold on, let me do the quotation. Spring break.
Yeah. What you mean, spring summer break?
Right. Right. Because technically the school year is over in a sense, but they're still in school next week to finish up, and it's a lot of things happening. Quarantine 2020. We're just trying to figure that out, manage that, maintain. But all is well. The kids are on break right now.
Man, my kids is and they're kids. You can't really get mad at the kids.
Nah,
they're do that, but at the same time, we just want them as parents to listen. Listen. We don't want you. We're not asking you to cure cancer, or if you will. We just want you to listen to it.
Right.
Right. And I'm gonna get into that, and I'll tell them why you're mad. But before we get to that, let me bring my guest on. Okay, I want you to understand. Everybody is watching this right now. Okay. Our special guest today, and this is the first time ever on the Brothers Who Talk we've ever had a sister who's going to talk to us today. And she is the significant other, the spouse of Mr. AD Walker, Samantha Walker. And I'm going to tell you guys before this parental discretion. We're advised during this podcast.
She's awesome, though. She's awesome.
I'm watching her in the back room. I'm looking at her in the back room. She's like, I can't believe you just said that. So I want everybody that's in here that's on Charm City, on my Facebook page, I think I shared it to my page, to say hello to Mrs. Samantha Walker.
Yeah.
Mirrors Samantha Walker. Don't bring her on. Hey, Sam. What's going on? And so welcome to the Brothers Who Talk. We normally don't have sisters on here because it's the Brothers Who Talk. But so today it's the Brothers Who Talk with a sister. That's today. All right. So we're gonna get into the stuff. We'll get into the stuff real quick. And the first thing I want to get into is the news, you guys, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the news. I know we took the news out. and I decided to bring it back because there's some stuff, especially today. So the first thing that I'm reading about and everything that I'm talking about now is coming from CNN.com. So it ain't Terry just spitting stuff out his mouth. So this is CNN.com. Okay. One of the first things that I'm reading is that nearly a third of Americans have not paid their rent this month. Why is that? Why would we not pay our rent? I mean, I get it, we're in a pandemic.
Right.
And so, but here's my question to both of you guys. Is out of this third of Americans who didn't pay their rent, how many are Black? Do you think?
Why does it matter?
I guess it doesn't.
Oh.
Because, but why even not pay your rent though? That's the question. That's my question to you guys. A third of Americans. Can you know how big the number is in comparison?
Well, you do realize that a lot of companies. Why does it sound like I'm echoing?
There we go. It's fixed. He did something.
Okay. So, well, a lot of companies have provided the options for their tenant not to pay.
Right.
Some of them have offered deferment,
right,
meaning they just adding the month on the back of your lease. Some of them have just allowed their tenants not to pay for this month. So, realistically, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, a lot of households, especially like this one, I was already laid off.
Right.
So a lot of households, people have been laid off,
right,
or time has been cut short,
right,
or just fired altogether, because there's several companies that have done that as well. So when you factor in all of that and you're given options to not put yourself in a financial bind, then why not take it?
Right. Right.
It would just make sense. I mean, realistically, we don't know how long this is going to last. And let's be honest, how many people that you know personally have thousands of dollars sitting in the bank?
Right. Right.
None personally, no.
Right.
Huh?
None personally. I don't know any personally.
Right.
Right. So, when you factor in everything that's going on, then you add some fear to that, because some people are scared. They don't know what's going to happen or what they're supposed to do next. Right. Yeah, people are going to not pay unless they absolutely have to. Right. And personally, I think for once, it's one of the small things that humanity is getting right. Like, to try to be thoughtful of people in their current financial situation.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Right. And I think you just, and like a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck, and sometimes the savings aren't as much. But what I will say is, for every individual situation, from rent to whatever you are not paying or you're trying to negotiate, especially rent, because we going through this, make sure you're reading what you're signing. Make sure you're reading what you're signing, because we had a situation, we was like, oh, I don't think I like those terms, because in the end, every company is still trying to set up to somehow recoup that money. Right. People might give, I mean, in some sense, either from you or the government, but in your case, you're kind of have to protect yourself. Just read the fine print, have the discussion, know exactly what you're getting yourself into.
Ask questions.
Yes, ask the questions like, how does this work? Is this going away? Is being deferred? Am I paying in chunks? However they're setting it up, because some are giving you deferments, but remember, you still may owe that lump sum after that grace period, so just ask and find out exactly how it's going to work. You have to call it in. You have to call in and find out. Just don't pay. That's not it. You make a phone call, have the same discussion. Just know they'll be a lot lenient, than they were probably previous if you've had an issue in this section or with this bill.
Right. So what they're saying, you guys who are watching, knowledge is power. Right. Call your landlord.
Right.
I mean, if you get it from the horse's mouth. Right. What was going on with your rent, and because I know I still had to pay mine. And Melissa paid it on the first on time. So just talk to your landlord. or your mortgage company or however it's working for you, and get that knowledge to make sure that you're straight. So I want to say hello to Tyrone, who's in it, Venable, who has commented, made several comments. I want to say, first of all, I love that profile pic. Little baby's cute with the blue tongue. Keep that going. I got some folks in my watch party, Calethea, Richard, and Dylan, and my watch party over on my side. Thank you guys for coming through and saying hello. Make sure you comment. If you want to comment and you want us to see the comment to where we can post it, you have to come over to Charm City Direct TV, that page, and watch us over there, and then you'll be able to comment.
Right.
You'll be able to see those comments. Okay. Hey, Laura. All right. So the next thing going on with the news is that we've lost Bernie in the presidential race, and so now that concedes the nomination to Mr. Joe Biden. So
Crazy
so a lot of people are like, I don't know, and so there are a lot of folks that are also saying that this is an automatic another 4 years for Trump because it's going to get Joe. I've heard people say that. I'm in a red state, a blue state. What's Republican?
I think that's the red.
Red. So I'm in a red state. So yeah, a lot of the people hiding in the red state say, it's automatic. Oh, we're so glad. I mean, I don't know. I don't follow politics like that. I know Bernie was kind of wavering in the polls and losing primaries and stuff like that. I think about that whole thing. Crazy Joe now getting a nomination as the president.
I think Bernie had some momentum. I don't think his momentum was as great as it was the first time he ran, because he kind of came out of the blue for a lot of people, and he was so different. His ideas was really like pushing that more social agenda, that people weren't, kind of caught off guard. But what I would say is, I don't think he would have really won this time, because they were kind of digging some shots at him, a lot, and people were worried about his age. I realized if he did all 8 years, he'd be like 90 by the time he got out of office. But as far
wasn't he already 80?
He's 80, yeah. So he was like 79, I think, 79. Yeah. So right. And then Joe Biden, he's just, I think it's going to be interesting. Like, it's not going to, because Joe won, he kind of just off the cuff. Like, he going to come at Trump just as hard as Trump comes at him. Like, he ain't, he's just a fighter too. Like, I think he'll come out of the ring and just, you go, oh, for real, Joe, for real Trump, like he's the kind of, they're going to go back and forth. It's going to be an interesting fight. I don't think it's an automatic win, because to me, especially with the way, now Trump is good with the propaganda. I ain't gonna front. He's good at putting out like, anything wrong ain't me, it's them. Everything right, I did. So he's really been tricking his folk very well. But this whole pandemic thing, in the end, if you look, he didn't handle it well. He didn't jump on it quick enough. Like, there's historic that they keep bringing up, like, when SARS hit, even things when these diseases hit, these guys, or viruses, they were on it. They kept us, from it spreading like that. Ebola came, they kept it from spreading so quickly. So I think that's gonna hurt him, because it's affecting everybody. So I don't think it's a shoe-in. I really don't feel like it's a shoe-in like that. Yeah. And that last time we thought it was a shoe-in, we saw what happened.
Everybody thinks that Mr. Biden is like Sam said at the beginning, Crazy Joe.
Right.
Some people think he's a pedophile. Some people think he's inappropriate. I mean, I don't know.
So, who you talking about? Trump? Oh,
Joe,
no, you're talking about exactly.
Joe Biden. So everybody
exactly. So whatever they got, we got. Like whatever it's the same.
I think 4 years of Trump's mouth is going to throw him under the bus that he's driving.
Yeah.
Between his mouth and his tweets, like, I think in the end that's gonna do him more harm than him just
he's really off the hook. He's really off the hook. All right. So the last piece we're gonna get into today. I don't know if you guys have watched it, but Plies, the rapper Plies, he did a video the other day. It was a rant, actually. It's on Young Turks. I don't know if you watched the Young Turks, AD.
I've watched that before, yeah.
But Plies did a full-fledged rant and was talking about and was calling out the CEOs and all these folks for being quarantined in their homes, and their people
out working, right?
He said if you feel like if they are essential and they're working, to pay them right there, because you're not gonna risk your life for $9 an hour, $10 an hour, whatever he said. But he really went all the way in. Do you think he has a point?
I think it should be taken into consideration, especially depending on what you do, and I think it should be considered, because it is a risk, at the same time. It's a job you kind of chose at the same time, but it should be some kind of balance. I'll say that. It should be some kind of balance, and especially like, and I see in grocery stores, like they put up the screen, taking the extra precautions, like giving me the gloves, giving me the mask, doing the extra to protect me, because granted, if I'm not here, you replace with somebody else. That's just jacked up. But at least give me an opportunity to be safe, giving me everything that, the CDC says is recommended, like using authority, not following everybody else, whatever the authority says, making sure I'm getting that required equipment so that I can operate in the safest manner possible. Pay is one thing, it's great, but it doesn't mean anything if I get it and I'm sick and I'm in a hospital on a respirator or something like that. Right. So I think first is my safety, and then we can discuss hazardous pay or something like that.
Sure.
I think all these workers should be getting a guaranteed bonus. Now, rightfully so, right now, in the state of the economy, companies aren't going to give you a raise right now. It's just not, it's highly unlikely to be able to get everybody that's working a raise or compensation now. But I think for the businesses that are open, for the employees that are working, it should be like a guaranteed bonus, Christmas bonus, end of the year bonus, something like a guaranteed something that is promised to these people. Because I do feel like you have to do something, because these folks are out here, and they're not out here because they want to be.
Right. That's true. But I found something funny yesterday. I went to McDonald's. I know you guys say I'm always unjust. Well, and I went to McDonald's yesterday and to get me and Devontae something to eat. And McDonald's, you talking about, to your point, AD, you talking about how they protect you from them or vice versa. Right. They had plexiglass like at the drive-through window, to where when they turn around, they're only gonna expose their hand or their arm to give you back your credit card or your cash or your food. Right. They try to. So yeah, as long as you're trying to protect me, but I'm with Plies on this one. I think that they should absolutely pay people.
You know what's crazy? I was just thinking about what you said. I don't even know how it's spreading in New York, because if you go like to Brooklyn and you go to those fast food restaurants, you can't, there's no contact.
Yeah.
The same people are breathing on your food.
Right.
They're touching your car. It's the same thing. Don't get me wrong. I think precautions is great, but you going in there, they breathed all over your food. They touched your bag, and now they hand it to you through the glass.
Yeah.
With the Rona on the bag already. Like,
not with the Rona on the bag.
The Rona, yes, the Rona.
I'm gonna give you a number 3 with a side of Rona.
There you go.
All right, that's what you know what? I think I made the right choice by having Sam on today. All right, so those of you guys who've been following us for a little while on Charm City and Facebook and all that, now we're going to get into another section of our show called Tell Them Why You're Mad. Now, this is... I love this segment. I think 80 loves this segment. Sometimes we just get on what has pissed us off that week, And so that's the whole purpose of this section, to tell them why you're mad. So if you're watching this on Charm City Direct, watch parties, anything like that, if you can comment, I'm reading comments on my watch party. Tell us why you're mad while we tell you why we mad. So we're gonna show a little chivalry today, and ladies first on this one.
That's
so
fair.
Miss Samantha,
tell why you mad.
Why you mad?
I wanted to hear the sounds and all like y'all be doing.
Edit after.
That's after.
Oh.
That's after.
Oh, that's after.
Yeah, we do it on a
Learned
podcast.
something.
Yeah.
So, in the spirit of this being the brothers who talk, even though I'm a woman, I am angry or I'm mad because I feel like husbands are getting a bad rap. Husbands are being thrown under the bus. And don't get me wrong, nobody's perfect, especially not that dude. He ain't perfect. He messed up. He do stuff.
Oh
He
boy.
don't always get it right. But he's here. He comes home every night. He don't get everything right. But the things he gets right. And he doesn't, quit. He does several things right. He's a great father. He's always been a great provider. But it's not about him.
Right.
But women, we are throwing the very men we say we love under the bus. All I ever hear, I'll put it this way, is what he don't do.
Right.
He don't do this, and he don't do that, and he don't do this. What does he do? Do you ever tell the man what he does right? Do you ever tell the man, you know what, you got this right? Do you ever appreciate what he does right? Like women, we've got to do better. And then there's the, men should do more. There's always more. I keep hearing about the more that men should do. Oh, he can cook sometimes. He can get the baby. He can clean up. So if the man is doing more, women, what are we doing? What more are we putting on the table? Because guess what? We all us women got the same thing happening down below. So what more are you offering besides that?
And I did not get my sign this morning. Good.
Right.
I'm just letting y'all know.
So that's why I'm mad, because I feel like men are getting a bad rap and women, we want more, but what's our counter offer?
E-Digger. Shout out to E-Digger.
So that's why I'm mad, son.
Why you mad, son? AD, why you mad, son?
Oh, I'm mad at all these videos about the COVID-19 and their conspiracy and what's it doing and the 5G and what's killing you and what's stopping you, what's going on, and it's all these videos and this is the cure. They holding the cure. White folks have the cure. Black people, we are in trouble. I don't know. It's like every day it's getting more and more. It's driving me bananas. I think I'm gonna start blocking. I'm gonna put send one more, and I'm blocking you. Send one more, because it's coming. It comes into your messenger. It says, "Please read this," or "Please watch this," or the law. Please watch this before Facebook takes it down.
Oh man, Facebook don't care about that. It's just like E-Digger did a live the other day. Shout out to E-Digger. He's president and CEO and managing director, editor of Charm City, who we are. He said that the other day, stop posting stuff without it being factual.
Right.
And stuff. And it's just crazy. Stop. I mean, you know how many inboxes I got from one person the other day? Talking about, this is the truth. The truth. Read this. COVID-19 is an underground fake. Read that. You know what? Look. And I inboxed him back. I was like, bro, you send me one more. One more. And you out of here. I can't. I'm country. I'll say that. You out of here.
Right.
I can't deal. I cannot deal. All right. So E-Digger said, thank you for saying that, Sam, because I'm telling you, stay tuned, bro. We ain't there yet. Stay tuned. We got about 7 more minutes before we get into what we need to get into.
Yes.
Stick around.
So why you mad, Terry? What you mad at?
You know what? I'm mad at my kid. I'm mad at my kid today. I'm mad at Zariah. I'll tell you why. Okay, because I keep telling them every time they go outside, because they now have a trampoline. Hey, Fabi, at my wife's party. How are you? And Barbara and all y'all. But they have a trampoline, and I tell them all the time, when you go outside, wear socks or shoes. If you're on the trampoline, wear socks, because walking in the grass, you don't know what's out there, right? And so we have a wooden pallet that is on my fence that we use in the wedding with the cake and all that jazz. And I tell her all the time, wear your shoes, wear your socks. So the other day, she's playing with a neighbor next door, over the fence.
Okay.
She falls down and steps on a rusty nail. My first thing was, will you shoes? Now her shoes are under the trampoline. 20 feet.
Wow.
Your shoes is in the trampoline.
Right.
And it makes me mad. Like, why would you just do what I tell you to do? Like Mr. Incredible said in the cartoon, he said, when you say the word, you just want to stay safe. Don't mess it up. And just listen to what your parents are telling you. We're not trying to do anything crazy to you. Like I said, we're not trying to cure cancer and reinvent the wheel, but just listen. And so now she's putting a hole up for 48 hours because you didn't want to listen to what we had to say to her, you know?
All right.
Kids, just listen. Your dogs will have okay, ain't you? Okay.
Oh, you're scratching. All right. I'm sorry.
They itch you for a scratch, man. I'm telling you. Listen. I know I watched E Digger's he put a picture of his son up, and he was like, "Oh my God, it's gonna rain." I'd have to wake him. Right. That was the comment on the pic. Just do what we tell you to do. I mean, it's not. We've done this, and see what my kids don't understand is if they don't do work while this online stuff, okay, they figure home we're gonna chill, we're gonna watch the laptop, we're gonna watch YouTube and wild out, we're gonna do all that and not do no work. So somebody's gonna go at the end of the year go, oh, they didn't do nothing. Let's go ahead and hold them back another year, or keep them in the same grade. They don't understand. I'm like, get on point here. So kids, just stop it. Stop drinking that soda. I'm not trying to drink that soda. Yeah, I'm reading the private chat. I need to stop drinking it, but it's so good though. And I'm thirsty. I got dry mouth. Monica, hey Monica, what's up? Good morning to you. And Ernest said we're cruising. I'm telling you, he's got water. No. Did I lose you guys?
No.
Okay, because 80 was like,
I'm muted because my dog was itching for a scratch.
Oh,
because it was raining out, and I was like, yeah.
So again, I want to thank you. Let me put my stuff up. My stuff is not up. Yeah. All right. Also, subscribe to the audio podcast on Apple Podcast or Stitcher.
Yeah.
This show after the edit on Saturday at noon on Mile High Radio.
Yes.
And make sure
get some music in the background, little sound effects.
Yeah. But it's right like this though. Right. Now we're gonna get into why we are here today.
Yeah.
Okay. This is going to get good. I'm gonna go ahead and warn everybody up in this piece that if you ain't in here, stay put. If you're in my watch party, stay put. This is going to get really, really interesting. Okay. Make sure you share this out. Make sure you tap your screen for emojis, all of that. So that way we'll know that what we're saying makes sense.
Whoa, wait, just hold on. Just give us 30 seconds. Okay, maybe a little longer. Quick word from our sponsor. All right, peace out. welcome back. All right, let's get back into it. Yeah, boy.
So, the topic of today's podcast, the topic of the reason why we're here, the reason why Sam's here, is called Sex, Lies, and Denial. So that's the name of the show today. So make sure share. Sharing is caring. Like he always says. We're gonna get into it.
Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring.
So the reason why the topic today is what it is because I had a conversation with AD and Sam yesterday, and she was very spirited about a certain subject that we was talking about. So I decided, or I suggested to AD, I said we should talk about that tomorrow on the podcast. He was like, "Yeah, let's do it. We're going to bring Sam on." So at this moment, I'm going to give Sam the floor because she's got to explain why we're here. Yeah.
Okay,
It's what he did to me.
I'm kind of feeling like y'all using me to kind of set women up right now.
No.
That's not, I'm feeling a little set up in my spirit right now. I'm feeling. Y'all gonna have my face on a wanted poster saying
No.
out of
The women's group.
yes.
Take her card. Take her card.
You know, I'm always almost on the outside anyway. Y'all not helping my status today.
Let's do it.
So let's see. Why are we here? I don't really have any control over these topics. I don't care what they tell y'all. I'm an outsider. So we were having a discussion about sex within marriages or within couples. And here we are. My personal take on it is, you know, I see a lot where women use sex to, I don't know, kind of control their men or to establish some kind of weird order. Like, if you're not doing this, you don't get the nookie. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like always sex is like a form of punishment or like a form of reward. You know, almost like when you're training a dog, you know, when a dog do good, you give him doggy treats. And, you know, when he's not, you smack him on the nose with the newspaper or whatever it is. It's kind of like, you know, women are using sex as a treat. You know, oh, if you pay my light bill or if you get my hair done,
right.
You know, here's a treat. If you do, you know, what I want you to do, here's a treat. That's not gonna get you no brownie points.
No. Well, maybe for me. It depends. It depends on who you ask.
Well, no, actually I was talking to AD because while I was talking, he came and brought me a drink. Because he's like almost in the doghouse today. I'll say almost. He's not totally.
Oh no.
He's not totally in the doghouse. But he's standing real close to it today.
He had the welcome home at the doghouse.
Yeah, right. He right there.
Boy.
So
oh my goodness. Okay.
I just feel like, you know, in a marriage, sex is definitely a part of it. And I feel like we can't use that as in those kinds of ways. Like, I don't know. I get lost in the whole, you know, withholding it and giving it and no, you can't have it today and you can only hold it, you know, have it once a week or whatever it is. So, yeah, that's my take on it. I don't feel like sex should be withheld for almost, and I'll say almost, because there are, you know, maybe instances, but I don't think it should be used in that way, like a manipulative tool. You withhold it to get what you want. That shouldn't happen.
Right. Okay. So here's my take on it. My take on it is this: is that I've been on the other side. I've been the guy that was denied. I denied stuff. But take it from a guy who has had what we call pity sex, and pity sex is when the woman's not really into you and she just gives it to you because, you know, like you said, because she can't withhold it. So I'm gonna give it to you because. And for a man, it's not a good feeling because I know I'm connected to me, or I was at some point, and it's hard for me to receive sex from someone who really don't want me. I mean, here's the difference. Okay, here's the difference. You make love to your wife or your girlfriend. Well, no, your wife. We're talking wife right now. You make love to your wife, and you know when she's into it. You know her facial expression. She knows she start crying. You know you doing the thing. So
crying.
Yeah, I made that. Don't do that. I made that happen. Okay,
somebody get Melissa on the line.
Yeah, she in the other room. She knows that. Don't do that. Anyway, so I told y'all, parental discretion is advised on this podcast today. Hey, what's going on? And it's another thing to have someone to just give you something because you're supposed to have it, regardless of what you did or didn't do. And it's like the whole facial expression changes. She's like, "You done yet? You done yet?" I've been there, and it sucks. It sucks. So this is when though I think men have to connect. Right. Monica agrees with you. I agree. Don't use it as a form of punishment, but if there's a disagreement, I can see not having sex because your feelings have been hurt. It's hard to do that. It's emotional.
Right, but I'm not saying right, and I agree. I'm not saying, like just do it. I'm saying if there's an impasse in the road, like don't say, "Oh, I'm just not gonna give him sex." Right. Talk about it.
Right.
Look, you shouldn't have done this, or I felt this way when you've done this. Right. Like work it out. Ain't nobody saying you just gotta go in the room and get it on. Like sometimes you just have to talk about things. Just talk about it.
After we get done, me off. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's like you said, not using it as a tool for long-term negotiating tactic, but you talk about what's bothering you. Because you can't just, if something happens, it's hard to just hump it out. You can't just it ain't go. It's a little bit of a distraction sometimes. I don't know.
Humping it out. Not a bad idea.
But I'm just saying, sometimes it's a little bit of distraction. And on one of the parties, like we just gonna hump and forget about it. Just for now, and then we talk later.
Yeah, I promise you, humping it out is the cure to whatever. I promise.
But it has to be, listen, it has to be at least done. At least there's got to be an understanding. Something, because everyone's affected emotionally. But like Sam said, it's just it can't be a continuous thing. Like we're not, because it's something you did. Like either we're gonna deal and find a way through this thing, because sex is a part of it's almost like it's a requirement of your union. Like it's part of what it's part of the reason. Some of the reason you got married. Like hey, you my boo, and this is what we do. So it's a requirement. I'm just saying, like I said, if you're having an issue or a situation, then you work it out. And you at least get back to.
Don't put them in the doghouse.
So when you start, first of all, when AD start rhyming, there's always a problem. That's first of all. But then Terry, to your point though, that's on both sides. I mean, I started talking about women, but as a woman, like you've been with, like there's times when old dude don't want to do it either. He's tired, or when you get the lazy, like so. It can be on both sides. And when that happens, like you said the other day, sometimes you have to give your partner a little grace. Yeah. Sometimes you have to realize, like, maybe, okay, tonight wasn't your best performance, but I appreciate the fact that you got on the stage. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it may not have been my best performance, but I got on the stage. Like, I got there with you. Because I realized you needed it, even though maybe right now I just don't want it. Yeah. I mean, that could happen, on both sides. But I think it's important to have those conversations. Yeah. Like, why didn't you want it? Why, what happened? Instead of just, we can't always take it as something's wrong, or, you feel some type of way about me. Like, I've seen, because most of this stuff comes from these marriage groups we in, which we all need to get out of. I'm sure I do.
Get out.
And, in these groups, you see women like, put that soda. The women, like, a lot of times as a woman, I don't do it too much, but I hear a lot of women do it. They internalize things. But you know, like things happen or they feel some type of way about something their husband is doing or not doing, and they internalize it. Like, you know, it makes you feel some type of way about yourself.
Right.
And you can't do that. Like, those things inevitably, you know, cause division. You have to talk about it, especially when sex is involved. And don't lie. Since the next little thing was lies, don't lie. Be straight. You know, honesty will get you a whole lot more stage time than lying will.
And man, to your point earlier, you was talking about, you know, coming on stage. Some days I'm David Ruffin. Other days I'm Otis. It just depends on what day of the week it is. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, as long as you show up, you know, it's okay to be a choir boy. You ain't got to be sexy all the time. You can be a choir boy in the back, but showing up. Listen, ladies. Here's my point, and I want somebody to catch this. What's up, you guys? With my wife's party. Hey, Andy. A closed mouth. We talk about communication. A closed mouth will not get you fed. Right. You feel me? You ain't my food either. A closed mouth will get you fed. So you have to open your mouth and tell us what's going on in order to open up the floodgates. Because if you don't tell us, we don't know. And so we just men, to be honest, I think AD may agree or may not agree, that some men we're closed off like that. We don't attach emotion to sex. I don't, or I didn't. I'll take that back. I didn't. And so it was just, let's do it. I ain't gonna say no. You know what I'm saying? There's no emotion behind it. You know what I mean? So as long as everybody, you know, attached, emotion doesn't mean a lot to me. Well, it did. But open your mouth. Tell us what's going on.
I mean, I believe. Make sure I'm unmuted.
You good?
Acting crazy.
Yeah.
Emotion and sex. For me, you know, it kind of runs together. And honestly, though, I think more than likely than not, for a lot of guys as well. I mean. Yeah, I mean, I guess you can, you know, let your fleshly thoughts override what you're feeling emotionally, but there's still feeling there. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's not like it doesn't have a say in how you feel. You know what I'm saying? Your emotions don't disappear whenever you're doing that. You know what I'm saying? When you're in the middle or even in the midst, it's still there. I think. You know, we can choose to ignore it, but it's still there. You know, like regardless of what's going on, because I mean, I'm sure there are women that get into it and kind of just try to ignore that loud emotion that is bothering them or something's bothering them. You know, because they be just like, listen, maybe I can want it enough to get through it or want it enough to this will go away. But of course, after what's said and done, you know, your emotions are still like they just get louder again. Yeah. Like, you know, this dude is annoying or this situation is bad and whatever. You know, I don't think emotion, you know, even guys, we may say it, but I don't really feel like it's true. I think it's still there. We just try to choose to ignore it. We choose to ignore. We can choose to ignore it, you know, long enough to get into the action. But that communication is it's about intention, you know, like whatever you're trying to build, whatever you're trying to grow, you know, it's being intentional in your relationship and wanting more, you know, whatever you're seeking or going after and not getting distracted, with the outside world, and then making sure we are taking care of each other. You know, we all have our physical needs, our emotional needs, and being there, but not ignoring them, you know, not ignoring how the other person feels and just kind of brushing it off.
All right, so I don't know if you're watching the screen with, you know, the queen up there going. But listen, and another point though, we're gonna move on from that. Here's the thing: we was talking, and she was reading these comments in this marriage group that she was in, and she was reading the comment, and when she read it to me, I was like, "Oh my God, no!" When the woman was talking, when the one commenter, I'm not gonna say woman or whatever, I don't know her name, but anyway, the one commenter said, "When my husband opened his mouth,
Oh,
she's like, please shut the F up." Like, when you get to that point, I think, when who wants to sleep with that? If I want you to shut up from the time you open your mouth, she's not gonna want to sleep with me. Like, why does it? First of all, here's my first question. First, why does it get that bad? Second, why are you still there? After it gets that bad, after it gets to the point where you can't stand the sound of his swallow. I mean, how do we? You can't stand the sound of his swallow.
It can happen. It can happen. I'm not gonna lie to you. There was a time I could not stand to hear Anthony Walker breathe sitting next to me. I didn't want. I'm being honest. Like, it, things happen, and really, it was little stuff. And things build up, and unresolved things. It starts resentment and bitterness. And so once, things are unresolved, that little seed of bitterness just grows and grows and grows, so that no matter what they do, it just burns the very core of your being.
It burns your retina in your eyes. Like, I can't stand to hear her breathe. Oh, but it gotta be like the level of hate that has to take. I mean,
but it's really
hate
not
is a strong word. Hate is a strong word.
But it's not hate.
It's like to get that bad though.
No, even when let me tell you something. He can tell you this because he on here. So even when I could not stand to hear him breathe, I still took care of him. I just.
Oh, no.
Finish your comment, and then we get into it.
I still took care of him. I didn't hate him.
Right.
I didn't hate him, but the level of hurt, and really a lot of it is you're so hurt and you're so disappointed by that person that, it just sits in there and it kind of eats away at you.
Right. Yeah. And then, well, to add to that, it was hurt, pain, and unresolved. Like it was undealt with as well. So it was everything. So the next thing I would do would just compound on what was done. So it was just a compounding kind of thing. So it just got to that point. Right. Listen, I was trying to stay out of her way, like, oh man, she's coming in the room. So as much as I was annoying breathing, I just was trying not to be in the same space.
Yeah. Again, to our point earlier, we'd rather avoid it. If I avoid it,
but that just made it worse.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
That's exactly the point, though. But so let me answer that. Let's answer Monica's question. It's kind of long, so I'll get to it and read it. Question: If your mate takes sex off the table, kick them out of the bedroom for good reason, are you opening the door for that mate to cheat? Also, the mate got kicked out of the bedroom. Is it up to them to start communication to get back in the bedroom? Or is it the other mate's position to make the first step to communicate? Okay. That's a loaded question. That's a loaded question.
Go ahead, Sam.
One part at a time. Go ahead.
Okay, so since she's on here, I'm going to ask a few questions. And when you see it, Monica, just jump in and answer. But first of all, I feel like in a relationship, the goal should be to fix the relationship. Right. So the part about whose job it is to start communication is both of yours. Right. Like, I feel like both of you should be trying to figure out why one person was kicked out of the bedroom. And then, are we kicking them out? You have to sleep on the couch? You said for good reason. See, you opened up something. So what's the good reason? Like, okay, so somebody cheated.
Well, no, I don't think he cheated yet. He ain't cheated.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, hypothetically, no. I don't know. Because I'm thinking, what would make me kick you out of my bed?
Other than
like, so for me to put you out of my bed,
right,
you would have had to been putting it somewhere else.
Right.
And then once you put somebody out of the bedroom, like, is this a conversation that you had with established parameters? Meaning, okay, you disrespect, okay? You put them out of the room for disrespect. What's the time frame? Is it, you know what? Right now, you a little wild with it. You didn't sleep on the couch tonight, and then tomorrow we talk about it? Right. Or is this just, we ain't gonna have sex because you disrespectful? Because, you know, that's an open-ended window that's gonna create issues. And I know sometimes as women, we do things trying to get a response out of our spouse. But unfortunately, the response you may get is not the one you're looking for. You have to find healthy ways to communicate that disrespect is not tolerated. Sometimes, again, taking the bedroom away is not the answer. I mean, you don't have to have sex. Like, you know, but when I roll over, your trifling behind better be over there snoring.
Right.
I don't want to hear you snore, my dude. I promise.
Yeah, it doesn't, you know, you don't want to create so much distance in your relationship that you gotta swim the Mississippi to even begin to reconnect, because sometimes the other person will look and see that the divide is so big and they're like, I'll never get back over there to her. I'll just go next door. Susie been waiting for 3 years.
But here's my question to you two: Can a marriage last without sex? Don't worry about taking it off the table or using it as a weapon or anything. Could it survive without it?
I think the piece of paper can, you know, because the piece of paper can withstand, you know, whatever. So yeah, you'll be married, but there will be no relationship. Because again, you know, think about it. No disrespect. Like, you know, let's say you and Melissa haven't had sex for like 2 weeks.
Not happening.
By the time that's 2 weeks.
You gonna say that? He said it happened. I knew no matter what you said, 6 months.
But that's my point. No. Let's just say 2 weeks. For God forbid, whatever reason. And by the 2 weeks, you irritated. You get to where, okay, the only time you better breathe is when you're trying to blow on my neck. Because, you know, you at that point. So just imagine that has gone on for 3 months. After a while, your irritation becomes you resentful. You resent seeing her come out the bathroom with a towel on because she's not going to drop it for you. You resent, you know, her climbing in the bed because she ain't going to roll over. You know what I'm saying? So, like, over time, I think it just grows and balls into other things. Like, yeah, you may still be married, but the relationship will eventually die. Was it dead man walking? Because eventually, you're right. Because that's where our connection comes, though. Like, you know, granted, there's the hugging, the embracing, the kissing, and leading up to it. That's where your physical connection stays, like with the constant intimacy. And if that's not there, there ain't enough talking in the world that's going to satisfy either one of us. You know, it's just. Well, you know, there are cases, just to be fair. You know, sometimes if there's issues, you know, there could be health issues. There could be mental instability. Under some circumstances, when you cannot have sex, like, and I mean cannot, you know, or whatever. I think if somebody, like, God forbid, if something happened to me and for whatever reason, I just couldn't anymore. It just, the whole box was broke. Hopefully, I would like to believe that Anthony Walker
not the whole box
would stay married to me. You know, he would stay with me even though the box is broken. So, you know, I think there are you know,
other things you can do. Nobody caught that.
Thanks. Big same. Good. I didn't have to say. But if nothing, you could. I mean, it'll survive. It'll survive if there's mutual understanding.
Exactly.
That mutual
you were
understanding.
supposed to say yes, baby. If something happened, I would be there till you.
Oh
die.
yeah, I'm always here till you die.
Play it back. We'll play it back. We'll play it back.
Hold on, let me make sure I do it for life. Always.
Yeah.
What we always say.
You need to say that on live so I can hear it.
did.
It's part of the world.
Let me see it.
So,
just in case.
okay, Monica wrote some stuff.
Yeah. You guys haven't caught on yet. These two are married. They have a show, or they have a brand and moving called The Purpose for Forever. Check them out Mondays 8 o'clock on Eastern Standard Time on Periscope and Facebook. So you can follow either AD or Sam and follow the Facebook group Purpose.
Monica, did we answer your question?
No, she wrote two. She got two long ones.
So yeah, let me read it. So it was an ongoing thing that we spoke about.
Sorry.
We made empty promises and my back was against the wall and had no choice. I took the bedroom away because sleeping beside someone that has humiliated you that day and many times over was too much. I totally agree with that. Sometimes you gotta shut it down. Okay,
hold on. There's more. At that point.
And at that point, I was ready to be done. I mean, I tried everything to get his attention about things, and to him, he kept saying I was on a power trip, and I understand that his words during that day hurt deeply. That's what kept me away from him. It was like, you feel this way about me, that was not love to me.
Whew. You know, sometimes, you know that saying that say women are from Venus and men are from Mars or whatever. Sometimes, effective communication is really hard. And that could be for a lot of reasons. It could be upbringing.
Yep.
It could be maturity. You know, like so I'll talk about me. In my household, we hollered. I'm not gonna say we. You know, there was hollering, there was screaming. You know, they. You know, I grew up in what was to some would be very volatile. Anthony grew up in a 2-family household. Nobody really raised their voice. Everybody was cordial. You know, they stayed in their respective spaces. So when we first got together, dating, you know, when I get mad, I'm gonna holler.
Yeah.
And I did that. I hollered and screamed and whatever. It wasn't until he said to me, and I saw you try for 5 years. It wasn't until he said, Sam, I can't do this. He said, I'm not used to this environment.
Yeah.
Like, this can't work for us. It wasn't until he verbally said something in a way that I could hear it, because he didn't scream it at me. You know, he didn't. He said it to me, and it made me think. Now, sometimes it's very hard to figure out the right language, the right words. Monica, maybe you should, you know, have you tried like a unbiased intermediary? You know, somebody that could sit and talk to both of you. It doesn't have to be a counselor. You know, sometimes you meet somebody that's older, you know, and you both at least respect them. Yeah, and delivery means a lot. It really does. But that's where the effective communication is. Because sometimes as a woman, we want to show you the point. Like, this how you made me feel, so I'm going to make you feel this way. You didn't like it, did you? That doesn't always work. Like, you know, it's like a trial and error. And I know me and Anthony are sitting here now, but it was a lot of bad communication. When I said I didn't want to hear that dude breathe, I mean it. That was for years. We spent a lot of years in that space. I was talking at him. In my mind, I'm talking to you. Why you can't hear me? But to him, I was talking at him. And he couldn't hear it.
Right. So that communication is key. Right. Let me not to cut you out, AD.
No, you good.
I am, you know, one of those people. I've said, you guys have heard me say it 1,000 times in our personal conversations, and then me, AD, with the podcast. You know, you teach people how to treat you. I mean, if you said something and you put in an earnest effort and said, this makes me unhappy. If I tell you that if you don't take out the trash every Tuesday, it makes me unhappy. That's kind of petty. But if I tell you something,
Right.
and it's hurting me emotionally, it's only so much anyone's going to take, man or woman, if I keep doing the same thing. And at some point, you're going to say, I just can't do it anymore. I'm wondering to Monica if they are still together. Because I know she said, I tried.
Just
for 5 years.
put the comment in. There you go.
Been there, done that. I was asking because I wanted to know you guys' view and was making sure I did the right things. We are in the final stages of divorce now. I mean,
Yeah.
you hate to hear that. You hate to hear about divorce, but if you go ahead, AD.
Let me throw this in there. So we divorced officially, like in front of a judge and everything. We were divorced for 3 years. 3 years. I'm gonna say that 3 years. so we went all the way. We went all the way. So it's never there's never really an over. You know what I'm saying? Like until you decide it's really over. But go ahead, Sam.
I got a quick question, Monica. I know I'm running y'all time. I know y'all do an hour. I'm making
it's okay.
So, Monica, my question is this: like during, while all this was going on, was this something that happened like in the beginning? He was disrespectful and you let it ride, and then you got to the point where you didn't want to let it ride anymore, or was it like in the beginning he say something crazy and you say something crazy back? And then you got to the point where you got tired of doing that and you wanted it to stop. Like,
okay, so after 20 years, I heard your story, and that makes me wonder if that to Anthony.
She's saying she heard our story. That's
right.
Yeah, like I'm telling you, it got really bad, but we didn't get proper help.
Right.
We didn't get, from times we would try to talk to somebody, and then it would help a little bit, and then we would stop.
Yes.
We really didn't get, proper help, because at the end of the day, like even with you asking now, like you said, you're in the final stages. Obviously, you still love him.
Yes.
Because you're still asking questions.
Right.
So that alone is enough to make you. I mean, because was that the only issue, or was that on top of a million other things? I'm not telling you to stop.
Oh, sorry.
See, that's what I mean. Like, when you think about it.
Wait. So
he was her soulmate. That was the only
he was great.
issue.
I thought he was a soulmate. Okay. Yeah. So when you think about it, go ahead.
It's like throwing the baby away with the bathwater. I'm not saying it is. It sounds like, and I'm saying sound like, because I don't know the severity of it. And I'm not telling you to ever tolerate disrespect or verbal abuse. So please understand.
Right.
What I'm saying is, when it's one issue, sometimes it just means it could be. You just need to seek the right help.
Right.
The right people to kind of come in, and talk to you.
Right.
The right connections. It could be who you connected to, your surroundings, finding other like-minded married couples. Maybe some of his friends are like, you the man in your house. You can say whatever you want. You have to look at the whole picture. Sometimes, and I'll say we did this. Before we got divorced, we were like, you know what? We need to get away from everybody. We picked up, closed up shop, and moved states away.
Right.
Now, the problem with us was we took us with us. I mean, some of it was the outside, but some of it was us too. So even once we moved, see, that's what I mean. Like,
cheated, physical and verbal abuse.
He allowed his family to tell him how to do things in his marriage. He cheated, physical and verbally abused. I can say the army and his parents had an effect, but he was in control and he allowed it to go very left instead of being that husband. Wow.
Yeah. See, once you say physical, you definitely. I mean, I think at this point, divorce probably would be the safest of, the issues. but you can always leave reconciliation on the table. If you still love him and he's willing to do some work on himself too, then you can leave reconciliation on the table, but don't ever leave yourself in an unsafe environment, because a lot of times verbal abuse does lead to physical stuff, and that's a no-go. I don't care what he tell you, he got PTSD, QRP, whatever.
Right.
Once you start throwing blows, you have to put yourself first,
right?
Because that's always a no-go, always.
Never. Yeah, being on your own is good. She said, as a couple is good. I tell you,
But change of environment, sometimes you have to get away from everywhere. Family can be your biggest hindrance a lot of times. Right. Because a lot of times your family, their relationships are jacked up. And they secretly, like, their capacity doesn't understand what a healthy relationship is. They think what they have is normal. And so they want you to have the dysfunction they have. You have to be careful.
You gotta be careful. And
I'm sorry, I done ran over time. I'm gonna leave.
It's all right. I'm sure. If he's still here, he hasn't inboxed me and said, "Shut up, get him off." It was all good.
And Monica, you can always inbox us or email me.
Yes.
If you email me, I'll give you your telephone. I'll give you my number. I mean, I know you from high school, so hopefully you didn't get crazier after high school.
So you know what this is. So. Let me first say thank you for being on the show today. You were absolutely awesome. You are as always. Don't forget to follow these guys on purpose for forever. They got cool intro, t-shirts, and everything. They come up in the world around here. So Facebook and Periscope. It's a video game, I'm saying. So to follow them on Facebook, and on Periscope, Okay, they come on every Monday, 8 p.m. Right? And I'm telling you, Samantha's drops and AD too. They drop chicken nuggets every Monday, so you might want to come through and say what's up. Thank you for joining us here, Charm City folks. Shout out to you, everybody. I got some comments I haven't read yet. Monica said, independence thoughts, strength.
But I have independence, my thoughts, my strength back. So divorce is a great thing. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for hanging out with us. And the last one is thanks, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
Yes.
What's you guys' ending again? When they get ready to close out the show, what do y'all say now?
Love intentionally.
Love unconditionally.
And love on purpose.
See? They already got the intro and everything. You see that? All right. We out here. You guys have a great one. We'll see you next time. All right? Brian comes in all late.
All right. Boom. I want to thank you for supporting the Brothers Who Talk. So listen, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. 2 things I need you to do. Make sure you comment. Tell us how much you love us. And like this page. Oh, wait. Another third, subscribe. Make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube page. Make sure you're subscribing to our podcast, no matter what platform that you're listening to. So the main thing is, I appreciate you even listening and making it this far. Next, what I need you to do is to hit that link right there. Go to the Brothers Who Talk Now, and be a part of our growth. Support our Patreon page, get some behind the scenes of all our shenanigans, and learn some things. We'll show you how we do our podcast and the equipment we use and how we hook things up. All right? So thank you so much for supporting. Have an awesome day. And again, thank you.
Thank you for watching and listening to the Brothers Who Talk. With Terry and AD. Check us out again next week, where we bring you a steaming helping of common sense, laughs, and advice. We can be found on any podcasting platform, iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. We're also on milehighradio.com, Saturdays at 12 Eastern. See you there.